Again, my name is JON Sanrtago. I'm the state representative. I represent the South End with my colleague Kim Janey. I was always supposed to Roxbury, actually across the street. And I'm so excited to be here today to share with you and be a part of this momentous occasion to support my brother in service, Joe Kennedy. And I'm here to tell you a couple things. First and foremost, this Senate race matters. We need some real leadership in DC right now. We have a burgeoning war in the Middle East. We have climate change that's gone unabated. We have spiraling healthcare costs, and we need some real leadership. And that's why I'm supporting Joe. But I also know Joe from way back then. We served in the Peace Corps so many years ago. It's funny. In the Peace Corps, it was the mid-2000s. I get sent to the Dominican Republic, a poor Haitian community out in the middle of nowhere. I'm there for a couple of weeks, no electricity, no running water, and I'm having a hard time. So I leave the village and I walk into town. And I see a redheaded dude. That redhead just comes out like crazy, right? Just get near Matt O'Malley. And the Peace Corps, for those of you who don't know, can be somewhat of a territorial thing. You go up there, this is my hood, this is my village. So I see this redheaded guy with the Peace Corps helmet. I'm like, why is he in my hood? So I go up to him and I say, hey, my name's John. I'm the Peace Corps volunteer here. And he says in his mild-mannered, Joe Kennedy way, my name's Joe. I work a couple miles away. And it clicked, because I'd heard about a Joe. Not a Kennedy, a Joe. A Joe who had worked, who had transformed this community by developing this incredible ecotourism project. It transformed the community because it brought jobs and economic development, and it saved these wonderful natural resources in that part of the Dominican Republic. But what I didn't know at the time was that Joe had gone above and beyond the call of duty. So you see, there was a poor Haitian community that I was working in. Haitian immigrant, impoverished, violent, and Joe saw the need for some real resources. So he went out of his way to find some money and to begin to organize this community. So when I got there, I can continue his work. And over the course of 2 years, we were able to build latrines, improve the health outcome of this poor community, and do some good work. And that's the Joe I remember. Not Congressman Kennedy, not the Senate candidate, but Joe, a Peace Corps volunteer who worked hard, who was honest, and who was there to serve the people who most needed it. Fast forward 15 years later, I had no idea that we'd be in these political circles right now, that we'd both be in elected office right now. And I'm so honored to be here in support of my friend and my brother in service, Joe Kennedy, because, ladies and gentlemen, we have a task at hand. We have to be committed, show relentless work ethic if we want to get Joe elected to office, because he decided to step in the ring and take on an incumbent. And for those of you and for the elected officials in the room who know how hard Massachusetts politics can be, it's going to get tough. It's not for the faint, it's not for the weak. And with all due respect to Ed Markey, who served honorably for 40 plus years, this is a new era. It's going to demand a new mindset, and require some new energy. And Joe's that person to take us there. The funny thing is that I have an experience or two when it comes to taking on incumbents. About 2 years ago, I decided to run for office because I thought my community needed change. After the Peace Corps, I went to medical school. I became a doctor at BMC. I work in the emergency room. It's a job that I love. It's a job that taught me a lot about life and loss and tragedy. And what I learned is that why people show up in the emergency room, it's a direct reflection of what's going on in their communities. It's the violence, it's the trauma, it's the poverty. And so I wanted to do more for my community, so I ran for office. And through a lot of grassroots and through a lot of door knocking, we were able to win. And over the course of this past year, we were able to change our community and bring some much needed resources. And Joe is going to do the same thing in the U.S. Senate. So I got a couple questions for you. Are you ready to support a candidate who's going to lead, listen, and be present with the people? Yes. Are you going to support a candidate who's not just into dismantling what Trump is, but dismantling the system that Trump stands for?
That's right.
Yes. You want to be part of the best and biggest grassroots progressive campaign in this state that this state has seen? Yes. Well, then join me in this campaign and help me support my friend, my brother in service, Joe Kennedy.